Morning, this is Brian. Today is Thursday, October 10th, 2024, and I'm back in Poway again. This time, I'm trying to head up to this peak called Goat Peak. So I'm parked at the end of a small cul-de-sac, Quiet Valley or something like that, Quiet Valley Lane, I believe. And I got that from Garden Road and Poway Road. So I'm parked at the end of that cul-de-sac, and now it's kind of dark because it's pretty early. Now I just gotta make sure I pick the right way to get up to Goat Peak, which is probably going to be one of these peaks out here. Yeah. Been at the trailhead getting my camera ready and everything. If I would have started hiking right after getting out of my car, I probably would have used the headlamps I brought with me. But I do have enough daylight to see where I'm going right now. It just won't look so much on camera. So I'm going to be following this trail up to Goat Peak, 1,728 feet. Should, if the marine layers to break up or such, should be able to get some good views. And it's kind of dark to see right now, but we're already having some botany. I can't really see that well, so let me get out the flashlight first, because I think we have hairy redberry here. So I'm gonna catch you up on the next clip and we'll take a look. So we do have a hairy redberry. This is only the second time I've seen this species. This is Rhamnus pilosa, and I could tell this is Rhamnus pilosa instead of Rhamnus ilicifolia because of the prominently hairy leaves. The leaves are pretty fuzzy, whereas Rhamnus ilicifolia typically is pretty smooth. So yes, this is Rhamnus pilosa, hairy redberry, here on the Goat Peak Trail. So yes, barely a few steps into my hike and it's already looking like it's going to be a juicy one. And of course, we got the acorns developing here on the Quercus agrifolia variety agrifolia. Trying to get the best lighting so you can see the acorns. Goat Peak should be one of those up there. There's another peak nearby, an unnamed peak, Peak 1770, which will be north of Goat Peak. So it's going to be probably one of these here, I'm assuming. So it's supposed to be a relatively short hike, maybe roughly about 3 miles round trip. But it's supposed to be a pretty steep elevation game when we start getting towards the hills. We're supposed to be right over Highway 67. And hopefully, well, it looks like those peaks are out of the marine layer, so I might get some pretty good views of Woodson and Iron Mountains. So we'll see. See how this goes. I'm going to let there be a little more natural light before I start really filming more stuff. So I'll see you up the trail, unless I have to botanize. So after a few steps, we're in kind of a mosaic of coast live oak and California sycamore woodland, mixed in with a few non-native river red gums over there, Eucalyptus comodulensis. But this is absolutely stunning over here. Look at that huge white sage. That's a big one. Look at how tall these sagebrushes are too. These are some old growth California sagebrushes. Ooh, wow. These are very tall. So now we're going to dip into this small drainage here, full of What do we got here? A lot of western ragweed here. So looks like we crossed some ephemeral streams. This is already, I'd say, the second one that I've crossed so far. And when the lighting's a little bit better later on, this will make some great footage coming back. Oh, look at that. California fuchsia blooming right now. Epilobium conum, subspecies conum. Love these canyon dips. There's a lot of young sycamores, a lot of young sycamore growth here. And lots of coast live oaks too. So there's a mixture of woodlands and coastal sage scrub. Headed through a tunnel of laurel sumac too. Wow, this is wild. Looks like a pretty narrow single track trail. I was looking at it from Google Earth and it looks pretty faint in spots, but it's probably because of the tree cover. Probably hides it. You can see we're coming out of the marine layer here. Marine layer started retreating back to the west a little bit, heading roughly east on this narrow single track. And yeah, this looks like this is going to be an interesting hike. Actually, we should be getting into some chaparral later too. It looks like our trail is going to go here, kind of curve off a little bit to the northeast. So we're in the middle of a canyon right now. I don't know the name of this canyon, but yeah, we're just surrounded by some beautiful, beautiful hills, peaks. We're down here just enjoying the beautiful woodlands of sycamore and coast live oak. So I'm a little hyper aware for poison oak, obviously, going down on these drainages, but so far this is just a beautiful area. So I'm guessing one of these peaks here will probably be it. We haven't really started seriously gaining any elevation yet. It's just a very gentle uphill stroll, which I'm guessing will become a quite steep climb at the end. So we'll see how this goes. I don't even know which one of these is Goat Peak yet. One of them, yeah, I'm not even sure. One of them's, I don't even know if one of these is Goat Peak and the other one's Peak 1770, which is an off-trail peak bagger summit. But I guess I'll find out. When I'm on Goat Peak, I'll look to the north and Peak 1770 will be there. I'll be able to figure out which one is which. But off I go. Looks like our trail is going to cross this creek here, this ephemeral creek. I think it continues on the other side over here, I believe. So it looks like this will be a trail that one should pay pretty good attention to while hiking. Well, we'll start heading up toward these hills on the backside of this canyon. I'll see you up the way. Before I even take a few steps, I've already got a manzanita. Huh. Didn't expect this. Trying to figure out what kind of manzanita this is. It's very smooth. This can't be a big berry manzanita, is it? Because the leaves are not glandular like Eastwood manzanita. This might be an Arctostaphylos glauca. I think we have a big berry manzanita here. The leaves are smooth, not glandular, not roughly sandpapery. But this close to the coast, here in Southern California, the drupes are very big. You can see there. I think we have Arctostaphylos glauca growing here. Big berry manzanita? Huh. Okay. And we got more up ahead too. And the leaves are definitely shaped like Arctostaphylos glauca. The stature of these shrubs definitely matches Arctostaphylos glauca. And once again, Rhamnus pilosa, hairy redberry, seems to be pretty common around here. So it looks like manzanita and hairy redberry are going to be two factors on this hike today. Okay, well, I'm digging it. I kind of had a feeling there would be some interesting botany, and there was definitely some interesting botany. I'm going to keep this going before this becomes a 3-hour video for a roughly 3-mile hike. So I'll see you on the next clip. Alright, well, saw that there was regular manzanita. Usually on these hikes, usually before I see the regular Arctostaphylos manzanita species, the manzanitas, I usually see this one first, which is Mission manzanita, close relative, Xylococcus bicolor, with its dark brown, really hard fruit. This is usually what I see before I see the true Arctostaphylos, the true manzanitas on these type of hikes. But yeah, I'm definitely have to look to see if big berry manzanita has been recorded in this area on CalFlora. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. And I think we got a sugar bush lemonade berry hybrid right there, I believe. I think that's, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Unless it's just a very large leafed lemonade berry. I want to tell you something. This is stupendously gorgeous hiking out here. Not even started the hard part yet. I'm sure there's going to be one heck of a workout coming when I get up the way a little bit, but we're starting to transition into chaparral more. I'm seeing chamise popping up. So we're starting heading towards that ridge, I believe. The peak should be one of those, I'm assuming. Again, I've never been over here, but I've read some trip reports. This definitely will give you a workout from what I've understood. Okay, here we go. I've had one small steep section. Yeah, here we go. This looks like a hybrid between lemonade berry, Rhus integrifolia, and sugarbush, Rhus ovata. I'm guessing sugarbush will be a factor somewhere. But you will see it on the other side of 67 when you're hiking the Poway range. Oh, here we go. We've got a steep class 2 part right here. Oh boy, that was steep. Whew. But yeah, that's what I've read, that I've seen. So let's try to focus here. I've seen sugarbush on the other side of 67, which is on the other side of the ridge. And so I'm assuming he'll probably be over here too. We're fairly decently inland. Now, for our next botanical piece of interest, hoary leaf ceanothus. Ceanothus crassifolius, variety crassifolius, making an appearance along with its ceanothus cousin, slightly more distant cousin, Ceanothus tomentosus. Very tall Ceanothus tomentosus. A lot of times they call it woolly leaf. A lot of times they call it Harry or Ramona lilac is another name, because they call ceanothus, they call them California lilacs, because most of them are native to California, and they look like lilacs when they bloom to a lot of people. But yeah, ceanothus crassifolius, variety crassifolius, some very tall specimens over here. Yeah, you got to go more towards the foothills and mountains to see those. So we're definitely getting a foothill vibe here. All right. Well, I'm gonna keep plugging away. This trail's gonna lead towards one of these summits over here. Just curious to see which one is gonna be. All right. See you on the next clip. Lighting's getting a little better, so I might get a few more photographs. I know on the way back I'll probably be taking a lot of pictures, because this is absolutely stupendous. But before I go, here we go again. Here appears to be another lemonade berry sugar bush hybrid right here. This is definitely a hybrid. The texture of the leaves is intermediate between the Rus integrifolia and Rus ovata. This is definitely a hybrid one here. So I'm seeing quite a few of those. All right, I'm gonna stop yapping and start snapping some pictures. So interesting thing, I've been pointing out all those hybrid lemonade berry and sugar bush specimens, but I've been seeing some regular lemonade berries. And here's one coming up right here. Here's a regular Rus integrifolia, regular lemonade berry. But I haven't seen any sugar bush yet, Rus ovata. Yet to see that one. Here we are, common chamise. Yes, indeed. Adenostoma fasciculatum, variety fasciculatum. And of course, sugar bush and lemonade berries. Somewhat close cousin, same family. Melisma lorina. Little sumac. All right. So when I do see Rus ovata, I'm assuming I'm going to see it at some point during this hike. I'll be sure to point it out, of course. Till then, time to document this absolutely beautiful scenery out here. If you hike this, and you do have at least some reasonable level of fitness for hiking, you cannot go wrong. All right, see you on the next clip. I'm going to probably be starting to do some steep climbing very soon. All right, so the work has definitely begun. Deep rutted trail here. So there might actually be some scrambling a little bit just to keep your foot up. Going down, this is going to be pretty gnarly. So I guess I'm going to have to start scrambling up these rocks. Yeah, this has become a lot steeper now. I kind of figured the honeymoon phase was over and that the real work was going to start. But yeah, this is definitely going to be class 2, at least getting up here. Oh boy, yeah. Definitely some class 2 scrambling to get around some of these obstacles here. One thing I will say is, for the most part, trail's pretty easy to follow in terms of seeing out in front of you, seeing where it goes. Might get a little muddy, not in the literal sense, but might get a little hazy as to where to go slightly when you're crossing the little drainages, but for the most part, just get across the creek bed and you'll be fine. Ooh-wee. Definitely. See, right here is going to be at least a class 2 section right here. Oh boy. Oh boy, yeah. Oh boy. Going down this is going to be gnarly later on. So we're kind of in a class 2, small class 2 section right here. Alright. Alright. Woo-wee. Alright, that's enough yapping. Just gonna keep on trucking. That was pretty gnarly, not gonna lie. That was a pretty steep section there. This is steep too, but it's just high angle dirt. High angle walking, that's all. For now. Yeah. Alright. Looks like we're gonna have another really gnarly section up here. I got another scramble section up here. So once you really start climbing, you really, truly, and unmistakably start climbing. So if you do decide to take this hike, definitely have some level of hiking fitness, hiking experience, and so far, class 2 scrambling experience. I don't know if it's going to go up to class 3 later. It might, I don't know. But right now, we are in a class 2 section of the hike, meaning you're using your hands on rocks for balance, which is exactly what I'm doing right now. And another hybrid sumac, sugar bush and lemonade berry. Okay, so I will see you up the way with more updates. And despite the nice cool temperatures in the low to mid 50s, you will be sweating. Well, if you're packing on extra weight like I am. All right, gonna do a little more rock ambling here, so keep you posted, and we'll see what comes up next on this adventure. Whew! This is not a hike to underestimate. I'll tell you that right now. This is a mini butt kicker. There's a lot of scrambling involved coming up this. And it's pretty decent class too. It's not just little rock hopping class 2 like I'm used to doing. This one definitely requires some really good hand and foot motor skills. I wouldn't say it's quite class 3, but it's definitely class 2, well into the class 2 category. Yeah, going down this is going to be quite a challenge too, especially going down this is going to be pretty sketchy. So I did mention that I had assumed sugar bush would be a factor, and I was assuming I would find it eventually along this trail. And yes, here it is, Russo Vada, the other parent of that hybrid I keep seeing. But yeah, once you start really climbing on this trail, this is what you're looking at on your regular class 1 sections. Very high angle class 1. In other words, very steep. And then later on, you travel up about 20-40 feet, then you run into another tricky class 2 section. I've had some class 3 scrambles that were easier. See, I'm taking the definitions literally. Class 2 is where you mostly use your hands for balance on the rocks. And class 3 is where you're using your hands for leverage to help push you up. I've had class 3 scrambles that were easier than some of these sketchy class 2 sections. So just because it's class 2 doesn't mean it's not going to be tough. All right. I'll tell you one thing though. Getting up to this peak will be definitely worth it. Sometimes you have to work for that great view as your reward. And this hike will make you work. I promise you. It's not an easy hike. And you start, even I underestimated this. Not gonna lie. I'm gonna be totally honest. I underestimated this one. I thought it would be distributed through the hike. But it starts off very gentle. Starts off very gentle. And then once you get towards the head wall of this canyon, you start approaching the head wall towards the ridge. This is where it really starts really getting pretty gnarly. So definitely, this is definitely for more experienced hikers. This is definitely going to be very high into the moderate category. Dare I might even give it a moderately strenuous category. Because remember, you go up it, you got to go back down it. If you tried to hop down to 67 to get on Poway Road, you're going to be trespassing on private property above 67. So that's not an option unless you're willing to risk it, which I'm not. So if there weren't for private property, I would consider going down to 67, walking Poway Road, but that probably had a ridiculous amount of mileage. But this is definitely a good hike to train for tougher climbs. And it's definitely a beautiful hike. So when you're going through the really gnarly stretches that I'm going through right now, go through a section, take a break, look around, admire the views, go for another stretch, repeat. Wash, rinse, repeat. It's kind of the motto I want to use for this. Now we're starting to get some scrub oak now. Some Quercus berberifolia or Quercus acutidens coming up here now. One thing though, for experienced hikers, it's worth the effort. It's mellowed out for a short stint right now. It looks like we're approaching a saddle, I think. Either that or part of the ridgeline. As I hear traffic below on this side. I think I hear the 67. All right. So as you see here, I got a lot of work to do. I got to get up to one of these up here. I'm going to assume that one will probably be it. So I don't even think you could even see the peak from there. Looks like we're heading for a downhill stretch right now. But I hear what sounds like, oh yeah, that's Highway 67 over there. I can see it now. Woo! Yeah, watch your step. Yeah. So one of these, I'm assuming that one there is going to be it. So I'm going to go ahead and take some pictures. Got to swap out some batteries. And I'm going to continue this pretty tough, but definitely awesome hike out here. All right, so ever since I last checked in, I reached that notch. We're actually descending right now. Yeah, you can tell I'm pretty dirty after this one. So we're actually descending into this bowl down here. This is wild out here. This is some absolutely wild country out here. This is... you can hear the sounds of of Highway 67. If it weren't for that, if it weren't for the sounds of the highway over to my right, I would have thought that we're in the middle of some kind of wilderness area. This is pretty rugged. This is pretty wild out here. There we go. Looks like we're crossing another drainage right here. I'm assuming this probably occasionally floods out. We haven't had any scrambling for a while, so we'll see. I guarantee you when we get towards the hills over there, that's going to change. I guarantee you there's going to be some rock scrambling coming up. So those are very craggy hills. It's starting to get a little more overgrown here, so the dew off the plants from the fog drip kind of got my pants a little damp right now. But I'll tell you one thing. It's nice and cool out here. Definitely gave me a break from the scrambling for a little while. And we're going to start approaching these hills here. We'll see what comes up pretty soon. All right, keep you posted. See what lies ahead. Now, the trail's getting very overgrown over here. Very overgrown. Whoo! Still followable. You still see it under you. You can generally part the branches of the shrubs with your arms, but it's definitely much more overgrown over here. Yeah, definitely wear clothes that you don't care get dirty. They will get dirty on this hike. Well, we got a Quercus accoutrans here. A little scrub oak, some acorns growing on it. And it's definitely nothing I would do in even mildly warm weather. So I'm doing it now, because later on it'll probably get warm. So I'm doing all this now. And we're still, thankfully, in the shade of the side of the mountain. All right. The difficulty level's definitely mellowed out for now. Like I said, I'm assuming as we start getting towards this gully here, it's definitely going to ramp up a bit. We are mostly heading uphill. Mostly, but gently. Wow. This is absolutely spectacular out here. Definitely a recommended hike if you want a little ruggedness, some steepness, a good workout, and mind-blowingly beautiful scenery. This hike will do it for you. All right, so looks like this trail is going to head up this gully here. Let's see. Looks like this might be an interesting section here. What's actually going to be in the gully? Well, I'm no stranger to hiking gullies. I would not do this during a storm either, because this thing might flash flood on you. All right, so there's a small dry fall. Yeah, see, this trail actually goes in the gully now. All right, so we got a small class 2 dry fall right here, very small. Should be actually, yeah, just very easy little dry fall here. So, yep, back in familiar territory. Kind of has a cross-country feel, because usually when you're in gullies, usually it's off trail. All right, let's see. I gotta kind of angle myself around this a little bit. All right, so trail's in the gully now. I was thinking, okay, this would probably be on the side of the gully. No, the trail here, the gully is the trail, which is pretty crazy, pretty wild. Here comes another dry fall right here. Wow, this is spectacular. Oh, this looks like a easy walk up. So I apologize if this video is long, but there's a lot to this hike to be documented in terms of scenic beauty and also obstacles and things you'll be dealing with logistically while doing this hike. So when I do a hiking video, it's not just a quick little turn here, turn here, turn here, look at the view at the top. There's a lot of method to my madness when I do these long videos. I like to show what grows here, what animals live here in these places. And of course, I like to point out the scenery. Look at this. Got a good view to Black Mountain over by Rancho Penasquitos. It's looking like an island floating above a sea of marine layer stratus clouds. That's pretty neat. This is what lies ahead of me. Yeah, so basically, we're basically just following the gully right now, which is pretty cool because gullies, I do hike a lot in gullies, especially when I'm doing off-trail hikes in the mountains, when I'm trying to get to peaks cross-country. But then you get these gullies here when the trail's part of a gully. Yeah. The thing about gullies is gullies are beautiful places. They really are. You see a lot of cool stuff while hiking in gullies. And now that I'm climbing into the inversion layer. Now I can feel the temperatures warming up dramatically as we climb out of the canyon below. I can feel the temperatures going up. Now it's getting warm up here. Felt like it went up about 10 degrees, maybe even 15 degrees from the canyon. All right. Okay, so we got a little scramble here. It might look worse than it actually is on camera. Just look for your easy workarounds easier workarounds. That was a pretty easy class 2 section. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and shut off the camera for a little while and see you up the way after I snap a few photos of this gully. All right, so reaching the next obstacle. Before I address that, huge Chuck Dudley rosette right there, just hanging onto that rock. Dudley pulverulenta. I got some Chuck Dudley in this canyon. All right, so we're just about to hit a really gnarly spot. We got a really good dry fall here. So I could either try to step up through this, hoist myself over that lip right there, or I could try scrambling these rocks. I think I'm going to scramble the rocks, I think is what I'm going to do here. This will definitely require some class 3, I think, if I can get some good footholds here. Definitely require some class 3 scrambling here. Oh boy. Actually, I think this is the right way. That part right there would have been too gnarly. Just a quick class 3 scramble up that. Wasn't that bad. Going up that would have been a lot sketchier because you got that high angle dirt and you'd have to hoist yourself up there. So I took an easier class 3 scramble to get over the dry fall. Well, at least there's a breeze. Yeah, it's pretty crazy to have a trail going up the gully. It's definitely warming up here. So we're above the marine layer. I think we're in that inversion layer where temperatures start going up. I've done that on several of my hikes. Where you're in this canyon below the inversion. It's cool. And then climb above the inversion, temperatures warm up rapidly, like right now. It's very warm out right now up here. It's probably close to 70 degrees here. Down there it was in the mid 50s, maybe even low 50s. So you get a little lesson in science, a little lesson in meteorology and science on this hike too. Learn about inversion layers. Normally you think the higher you climb, the colder it'll get. Well, that is true if you're climbing a lot, like climbing thousands of feet. You'll notice that as the air gets thinner, holds in heat less, I believe. I believe that's the principle. And I believe it's called adiabatic cooling. But smaller scale like this deals with inversion layers where the temperature briefly in the inversion layer temperature shoots up, which is what it's doing right now. And then you also get the cold air is denser than warmer air, cooler air sinks down in the canyon bottoms, and the ridgelines and peaks are warmer on smaller scale elevation changes. All right, I believe the trail, I think I see it heading over there. I can see 67 now. Wow, this is a wild hike. This is absolutely insanely beautiful out here. Oh man. I can't stress how beautiful this is enough. Oh God, I can see my Mission Trails peaks over there. those in the frame. On the far left is Coles Mountain. On the far right is North Fortuna. So South Fortuna is underneath the clouds. North Fortuna, Coles, Piles Peak, and even Quai Pi are just above the cloud layer. You can even see Mount Helix right there in the center, that little blip. And that's the hike I did last Wednesday. And then there's San Miguel Mountain right there in the center. So, pretty cool. So it appears, yes, that the trail's starting to turn towards these craggy hills here. So definitely for this hike, rock scrambling experience is definitely a good thing to have, if not paramount to executing this. So you definitely want to be familiar with Class 2 and even some basic Class 3 rock scrambling principles. I haven't had any extreme, but some of the Class 2 has actually been trickier than the Class 3 in a couple spots. So this is definitely going to be more of a factor going down, even though it is a factor coming up. It'll be more of a factor while I'm descending. But I'm going to head towards this. It looks like it's going to go maybe towards this notch, unless it veers off. Till then, I'll see you along the way. It's beautiful out here. Okay, so looks like we're about ready to reach what looks like a notch or something between this and this little crag here. Just curious as to what it'll be. Trail seems to be leading this way. I'm already starting to see the Poway range show up. So I might be nearing the summit of something. Let's see. So the trail's leading this way. There's some higher terrain over here. Let me see. Let's see what's up over here. Can't tell if this is higher. I hope this is going to be one of those summits where I can tell that I'm on it and to know I'm at the peak and not look across a ridgeline and say, that looks like that could be higher. We'll see. We shall see. We're heading towards this area here. Yeah, I think this is going to be a little higher. This might be leading towards the peak. I'm glad I'm going to have some views on this one. I definitely earned it. Twin Peaks Poway, that was a much easier hike than this one. That one I was in the clouds, but that was a much easier hike. It was in the moderate category, but quite a bit easier hike. Much less elevation gain. Over a similar distance. This one I'm gaining over 1,000 feet, vertical feet. And I would say this might even be a little bit more difficult than the Viejas Mountain because of all the steep scrambling. Viejas Mountain Trail is about as steep, but there's definitely much more scrambling on this one. And I'm talking about the normal Viejas Mountain Trail from, was it Anderson Truck Trail? The normal 3-mile hike. All right. Just get up these rocks here. All right. Alright, so thinking that over there in the center is peak 1770. Alright, so I think I'm approaching the summit of Goat Peak right now. Goat Peak should be up here, I believe. If there were a trail linking across this ridge to get over to 1770, I'd be tempted to make a summit bit at that too, just for the heck of it, because it's there, just because it's there. All right, so I believe we are approaching the summit. We'll see how gnarly the rock scrambling gets towards the top of this. All right. Let me see. Might be some class 3 over here. Let me see. Let me walk around this ledge here. It's a little sketchy right here, actually. Might just need to directly scramble up the rocks here. If I go this way, it'll probably be better for me. All right. Yeah, I'm just about, I believe just about at Goat Peak. There's a subsidiary summit. Yeah, it's got to be peak 1770 right there. All right, so let's see. All right, time for a little class 3 rock scrambling. I'm crawling on my knees and hands right now. Okay. All right. Just a few more rocks to scramble, and I should be at the top of this. Oh God, is there poison oak up here? Oh God, there might be poison oak over here. Let me take a look. I think so. Might be. Just make sure I don't touch it. Can't tell. Very similar looking to currant, flowering currant. Very similar looking twigs. Let me just work my way around here. Yeah, this looks like white flowered currant. All right, let's see. All right. Just a few more rocks to scramble, and I'll be at the summit. All right. Looks like just a little class 2 to get me the rest of the way there. Just some class 2 rocks to ascend. This isn't too bad. I can see the summit register. See if I can get around this. Get around this laurel sumac. Just about to reach the peak. This is it. Goat Peak. 1,728 feet. This is the summit right here. A little class 2 to get to the top of this. Oh boy. You'll definitely earn this one, I promise you. Oh boy. This one ain't no joke. It's so worth it though. It's so worth it to come up here and get to the peak here. Oh yeah, views are pretty sick. A lot of marine layer, so there'll be some stuff I can't point out too well. But I can see down there, that's where I came. That's from whence I came. Near the end of Garden Road in Poway. Quiet Valley or something, Quiet Valley Lane or Quiet Valley Road is the cul-de-sac where I'm parked. That's where I access the trail, right at the end of the cul-de-sac. All right, there's even a summit sign right here too. Oh boy, see if I can bend down to reach it. There it is. Peak, 1728 feet in elevation. Pretty cool. This was definitely a worthy excursion. Wow. Yeah, I'm sorry for the wind. There's definitely a breeze up here, which feels kind of good on my sweaty skin. So let me get my summit selfie, and I'll start pointing out some views. All right, let's go start talking about some views since I'm up here, and there are some pretty gnarly views up here on Goat Peak. I was told that there would be great views, and this is most certainly not a disappointment. All right, so let's start by looking more towards the west. I can see some of the peaks in Poway. One of those might be Twin Peaks. I don't know how to recognize it because when I hiked it 2 weeks ago, it was in the clouds, so I didn't get to see what it looked like except on the very top. So I didn't get any views of it on the way up. So one of those might be Twin Peaks, I don't know. But what we have here is Black Mountain in Rancho Penasquitos, right over there. Second highest point in the city limit of San Diego. And Black Mountain Open Space Park is another great hiking venue here in San Diego County. So we're going to swing it to the southwest. That'd be looking over towards La Jolla, Del Mar, and stuff like that, but there's a pretty solid marine layer deck obscuring everything, so you won't be able to see it. Now we're going to go swing it to the southwest, and then we got the peaks of Mission Trails Regional Park, most of which are above the marine layer. So we're going to start over here, right. That's North Fortuna Mountain, 1,291 feet. Then we're going to go swing it. That little bump above the ocean of clouds is Quaipai Peak at 1,194 feet. South Fortuna Mountain is between them, but it's underneath the cloud deck. And then we got the main mass right there is Powell's Peak right there at 1,379. Then we got Peak 1380, and on the Mission Trails Park map it's known as point 1,395, which is an overlook there. And then there's Coles Mountain, the highest point in San Diego city limits at 1,591. So let's swing it a little bit more to the south and southwest. We get a pretty good shot. We got Mount Helix, which was last week's hike. That's a much easier hike than this. Beautiful hike too, I may add. And then we got Mother Miguel Mountain, 1,527 feet. And then San Miguel Mountain center stage there at 2,565 feet. And then swinging a little bit more to the south, we got a great view of the long ridge of Otay Mountain and the San Isidro Mountains. And these San Isidro Mountains are the San Isidro Mountains near the border. Not to be confused with another San Isidro mountain range near Anza-Borrego Desert State Park, which is in northeastern San Diego County. So now we're going to swing it more towards the south and southeast. And I get that big rounded lump of awesome Lions Peak right over there. And then just to the right of it is the broad shoulder of Tecate Peak, or Cuchama. Those are two prominent peaks here in San Diego County. And then the sun glare is getting a little intense here, but you can actually look out towards the background. Left of Lions Peak, you got Lawson Peak and Gaskill Peak over there. Then I'm going to swing it more towards the southeast. You can even see out there Corte Madera Mountain and Los Pinos Mountain. And then more toward the southeast, you got El Cajon Mountain to the left, and to the right, Viejas Mountain. So I'm trying not to get the sun in the camera lens too much, so apologize for that. And then I'm going to zoom back out. Don't need to zoom anymore. Now we're looking towards the Poway range. And that's Iron Mountain right there, center stage, lording very high over us, almost 1,000 feet higher than where we are at 2,696 feet. And there's this little satellite peak, Little Iron Mountain, which is one of the few summits I hit that day when I did Iron Mountain back That's looking over towards Mount Steve right there. As well. I think that's Mount Steve. I don't know. Well, I know that one there is Mount Ellie, the one in the foreground. Behind it is North Iron Mountain, just a few feet higher than Iron Mountain, with a Class 5 rock climb to get up to the top of that one. And then the pinnacle of the Poway Range, as we're looking towards the northeast now, that is Woodson Mountain at 2,894 feet with all those communication towers on top. Potato Chip Rock is a very prominent feature of that peak, and that's where people go for their Instagram shots. So now we're looking more towards the north, and one of these peaks here, maybe it's the one behind it. One of these is peak 1770. I want to assume it's this one is closer, but the one behind it might be it as well. I don't know. I know it's supposed to be a little bit of a distance, but not too far from here. So as we're looking more towards the northwest, you can really see out there. That way off in the distance is Cleveland National Forest. That's the Santa Ana Mountains out there. You can see Santiago Peak way out there, the highest point in Orange County in the Santa Ana Mountain Range. And I have the Santa Ana Mountains way out there. Santiago Peak. I haven't been up to that peak in over 6 years. I know there have been some fires in the area, the airport fire. And we're going to swing it back to the west, right back to Black Mountain. Yeah, really insane views up here. Yeah, this is definitely a pretty cool hike, not gonna lie. I just wonder if some of these other peaks around here have trails to get to them. Because to get to 1770 or any of those other peaks, it's gonna require probably a lot of bushwhacking, definitely some off-trail hiking, and probably some rock scrambling as well. I guess it could be possible to get over there. But I don't know if I want to do that. And you can see the route that I used to come up. You can see the trail down there as it kind of snakes this way. That's the gully section of the trail right there, below that shadow. The shadow of Goat Peak. That's the shadow of the peak I'm visiting right now. So yeah, the trail kind of winds its way through that canyon, and then it starts to, once you go through that really smooth honeymoon phase, then you start getting some real steep rock scrambling on the canyon, and then it enters the gully, and you got to go over some pretty gnarly dry falls over there. This peak will make you work. I promise you, this will make you work. But I think it's definitely worth it to get up here and enjoy this awesome peak. So I'm gonna take some pictures up here and start getting ready to descend. Yeah, when you're scrambling, just take care coming down. I took a little tumble, and coming down these rocks did definitely take a little spill. And of course, as I was dusting myself off, the next botanical find occurs. California copperleaf again, just like last time I was in Poway. Acalypha californica is up here near the top of Goat Peak. It's the first one I've noticed today. Probably be more of them. But, so, yeah, that's one thing you got to be careful. When you're scrambling down is where you're most likely to have it. So I did have a quick little spill. Whew. Didn't really scrape anything too badly, just my knee just very gently. Or definitely got a little scrape, but really not much of any blood coming off of it, so kind of weird. All right. Now, time to start heading back down, but it does sting a bit though, not gonna lie. Let's see. Now I gotta try to remember where the trail is from here. It's right down there. So now I gotta start carefully scrambling down this. Luckily my camera fell out of my pocket. It didn't bust. Whew. That would have really not been fun. Alright, so I gotta carefully do this class 3 down climb here. So I'm not gonna film that much going down this, but it's definitely gonna require me to be careful. There's an interesting oak over here. I think it's semi-deciduous. I think it's an acutidens right there. That one's kind of losing some of its leaves. So yeah, definitely when you're rock scrambling, just be careful. And that was not even a really hardcore section either. So just be careful when especially when you're down climbing. Be careful. So I'm gonna go ahead and start working my way down, and I'm not gonna film a whole lot, especially on the scrambling sections. I was able to film some of it going uphill because it wasn't as sketchy going uphill. It's going to be a lot sketchier going downhill as I'm trying to do now. So I'm going to put this away for a while, and I'll see you down the way for some updates. Alright, so I made it past that first scramble on the return trip. Made it past that first pretty decent scramble section. I'm kind of in the scramble lull right now until I get back in the gully. So I get back in the gully, there are going to be several scrambling sections there. And again, this will be going in reverse, going downhill. So I'm going to try to just not go too quickly and get too much momentum. Whew. This is definitely worth it though. Getting up to that peak, Goat Peak was cool. It's a cool peak. It's outstanding views up there. You can see, I'm dirty. That was already dirty like this before I even took that little spill in the summit area. Yeah, see that hill there with the houses on it, houses and trees on it in the foreground, that was way above me when I started, and it was a lot closer to where I'm parked, but above the hill from it. So yeah, this is definitely a pretty gnarly hike. Definitely not a beginner's hike. Like I said, for the most part, navigation's not really a huge problem. I said there might be a few creek crossings in the wet season, and then dry stream bed crossings in the dry season, like now. But those should easily be navigated. You should be able to easily find the trail on the back side of it, on the other side of the little creek crossing. The creeks are really small, so it's not really too much required. And there's a very light amount of, I would say, almost like bushwhacking, because the trail's overgrown in parts. But it's not like true bushwhacking in the sense of being off trail in chaparral. You'll have the trail underneath you, and you'll have visibility of it pretty much the entire time you're doing that. All right, see, this places like this is where you want to go slowly. You want to go slowly in sections like this, especially where there are not a lot of rocks to step on. So just take your time. If you have to grab onto a shrub for like a crutch or whatnot. This is a lot sketchier going down this than when I was climbing up this. And there were parts of this that were sketchy on the up climb. So on the down climb, they'll be twice as sketchy. Just take your time and watch each step meticulously. You should be okay. So now we're heading back to the gully. And this is where the next set of scrambling is going to start occurring, where you're going to need to have your hands available. And I just felt the temperature start to dip already. And I've come down into this ravine. Temperatures felt like it went down about 6 to 8 degrees. It's actually feeling good right now. It's pretty warm on the peak, but there was a breeze up there, so it wasn't too bad. All right, so see, this is what I'm talking about right here. The scrambling parts. This is where you're gonna need to down climb very carefully. Like I said, when I came up this, I took this here. I took a class 3 rock scramble here, as opposed to trying to skirt up the dirt here. So this is where I'm going to have to use my hands to guide me down this. I've got a small class 3 section here, and this is where I'm going to have to go very slowly and use my hands to guide me down this cliff. Little rock, this dry fall here. Okay. I said, just take your time. When you're doing this kind of stuff, this is not a race. Don't race. Just take your time going down the rocks. Okay. Okay. See, my backpack is not giving me enough room to do this. There we go. All right. Whew. I'm glad the temperature's going down here in the gully a little bit. It's just I'm still sweaty. All right. I'm just gonna go down this one. Looks like an easier class 2 descent on this side of the rock. So yeah, there are some small class 3 sections in here, so just take your time. You should be all right. And this is actually scarier than it looks. I mean, I said it the wrong way. It's not as scary as it looks. It's a pretty stable rock here, so you can use the side if you need to, feel the need to balance, but this is not as scary as it looks. It's pretty solid rock underfoot. Like I said, you can use the hillside to balance if you need to. But that's kind of an example of what you're going to be looking at going downhill. But I think I'm going to focus more of my energy on getting through the scramble section of the gully, and then catch up with you a little bit later for some more updates. Ooh, what do we have here? Oh, I think this is white flowered currant, Ribes indicorum. Oh, no way! Indian catchfly, Silene laciniata, still blooming in October. Wow, didn't expect that. Yeah, a little reddish flower there. Indian catchfly or Indian pink. Silene laciniata, subspecies laciniata. So I'm just carefully working my way around, getting near a spot where I'm going to have to go uphill for a short spell. Beautiful morning out here, I'll tell you though. Beautiful morning out here. Yeah, the lighting's definitely better over here now. Yeah. Goat Peak. Yeah, this was definitely an adventure. This hike is definitely an adventure. We do get to hear Highway 67 a lot, but you can get past that, which I can easily get past that. This is going to be a very adventurous and enjoyable hike. Both coastal sage scrub, chaparral, and also oak and sycamore woodlands further down. So now we're climbing back up again. We're in a brief reprieve from the scrambling, which is great. That's beautiful out here in the chaparral. All right. Well, keep you posted. Crest this saddle. I'll be back to downhill again very soon. Get through this notch here. All right. Keep you updated as I continue my descent. I'm at the notch. We're gonna start going downhill again. That's up where I was right there. It's Goat Peak. I'm just gonna go up to this little lookout. There's this faint use trail coming up here. See if there's anything up here worth checking out. There's another use trail right here, actually. All right, here's a small lookout right up here. Yeah, there's the peak right up there. And I'm parked down there, not a very far distance away. It looks a lot further on camera, but it's gonna take quite a bit of time and effort to get down there. I'm gonna go back down, catch the main trail again, start going down the pass. Just figured I'd take a little detour to see what was up there. And, well, there it was. Okay. We'll rejoin the main trail. Right up here. So I don't turn around and make the wrong path on the way down. I just wanted to see what was up over there. All right, so here we go. Now we're going to start steeply descending again. And this is where it's going to get really steep pretty soon. Once I get down a little further, I'll end up having some more scrambling sections. And then eventually I'll hit the lower part of the canyon, and it should become much more mellow towards the end. Yep, sugar bush. It's definitely here. Rusovata. Figured it would be, considering the fact that hybrid lemonade berry and sugar bush are fairly frequent down in the canyon. Figured it'd have to be around here somewhere, and it sure is. Not abundant here, but it's here. All right. Now comes where I need to start being careful. And this is where I put the camera away for a while. Alright, so I'm getting ready for the next... Yeah, I'm kind of in it right now in the really steep section going down towards the canyon. I got a few hundred vertical feet to lose before I get down there. So I'm taking my time. Going down this. There are a few of these small scramble sections. Like I said, when you're coming up, you got to watch out, especially when you're going down. So having some pretty good leg muscles. Having good leg muscles and good arm muscles, or good hand muscles too. Pretty good for a hike like this. Now, this part here, I don't have the help of rocks to keep me balanced. So this is where I'm going to have to put the camera away and focus on getting down this. Once I get down there though, it's going to be basically a cakewalk. Till then, just going to have to go slowly and calmly. Away I go. This is definitely the sketchy part. Alright, so I'm still inching my way towards the canyon, little by little. I'm descending and descending. Should be at it probably about 10 minutes or less, hopefully. Here's one of the hybrid lemonade berries and sugar bushes. Respectable / Shovada, because of yawning. Yeah, so that's a very prime example right here of the hybridization of Rusovada and Rus integrifolia. Alright, so I got a gnarly little section here. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera off again. Yeah, I'm getting closer and closer to the canyon bottom, which is starting to look more and more appealing. Alright, see you down the way. Alright, so I'm still inching down. That's why I'm coming down right now. Finding some yellow rush rose, Crocanthemum scoparium, up here. I missed on the way up. Pretty cool. Still blooming here in almost mid-October. Look at that. Yep. Here's more of that Rhamnus pilosa. Hairy redberry. Finding a lot more of this here than I am even spiny redberry. I saw one spiny redberry when I started up. That was when there was still some darkness in the air. So I've only seen one spiny redberry. Its cousin, Rhamnus crocea. But I think I'm past the rest of the scrambling, I think. Hopefully I am. Hope so. Should start having a much easier descent. Now, is that hilltop there lined with houses and trees, now I'm way below it. I was quite a bit above it before. So yeah. Yeah, elevation goes all the way up that way. In that general direction. So yeah, you get quite a bit of elevation gain on this hike. So this is a very good workout for those wanting a good workout hike. If you want beautiful nature, you'll get that too. Botany and animals, yes. Yes, this is definitely a hike to be enjoyed, albeit it's a rigorous hike. Sometimes you just need to stop, take a look around at your surroundings just to enjoy it. So, I mean, this is a pretty demanding hike. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie about that. But, well, I mean, this is a weekday. It's a Thursday. I'm not sure what it would be like on the weekends. I'm pretty sure this area gets trafficked sometimes. I don't know if it's probably not nearly as popular as Iron Mountain across 67 or Woodson Mountain for that matter, but I imagine this does get some visitation. But yeah, it is breathtakingly beautiful out here. And we're finally starting to lose the steep grade that prevails as you go towards or from the ridgeline. So now we're starting to mellow out, and it should turn into a relatively easy hike the rest of the way. Definitely gonna have to go home and take a huge shower. Just gonna have to douse myself. Looks like plant resin, dew, dust all over me. Yeah, there we go again. Sugar bush lemonade berry hybrid again. Quite a few of them here in this area. I don't know if this is part of the Poway range. I don't know if geographically or geologically this is part of it, but it's right near it, for that matter. Definitely a worthy excursion. Yeah, I was way up there. Yeah, there's a lot of elevation change on this hike. It's worth it. It's definitely worth it. Especially if you have some height, you have to have some hiking level, some level of fitness to do this. This is not a beginner's hike, I tell you that right now. I'm fairly experienced with hiking. I've done scrambles, off trails, and all this other than that. And it challenged me, not gonna lie. So you definitely want to have a level of fitness. Pretty good balance. Definitely good balance. And scrambling abilities. I would say have a minimum of some basic class 3 scrambling experience before attempting this hike. It's basic. You don't have any huge exposed class 3 climbs, but there are some slight class 3 scrambles. I got one more scramble coming right up here before I'm back in the canyon. So this I can just get down this way. This is pretty basic but pretty common. There are some sketchier spots that I've shown you, so just pay attention. You'll be fine. Like I said, make sure you have some basic class 3 rock scrambling experience before attempting this hike. All right, well, almost in the canyon bottom, so it should become pretty easy pretty soon, and I'll see you up the way for some updates. All right, so I'm starting to enter the woodlands now. So I'm entering the woodland area. So it's going to get lusher. And this is where I also saw some manzanitas down here too. So now that it's daylight, I should be able to get a better look at what I saw. I didn't see any other manzanitas. The rest of this hike, I saw mission manzanita, its close relative, but I didn't see any other Arctostaphylos manzanitas, or Arctostaphylos species. I don't know, I keep saying Arctostaphylos manzanita, because there's actually a species called Arctostaphylos manzanita in central northern California. So, Arctostaphylos, yeah. I think these are big berry manzanitas. I think that's what these are. So they did have some pretty big sized drupes on them, the fruits are pretty big. Now that it's daylight, we'll have a better look at what we have going on over here. Yeah, this is the only area I saw any manzanita on this entire hike. I didn't see any for the rest of the hike. A lot of times you'll see them growing way up into the chaparral, into the hills. Yeah, it definitely appears to be Arctostaphylos glauca. I'm definitely going to do some cross-referencing on Calflora later to see if Arctostaphylos glauca, bigberry manzanita, has been noted from this area. But yeah, I would have thought you'd have to go higher up for that. Higher up and further inland to the lower and even mid-elevation mountains. Ooh, a little western fence lizard. There we go. Not much herp sighting today. But there's a little western fence lizard, juvenile. And now we're down in the oaks. And here we are. The little wash crossing here. Again, I said, the only thing is just paying attention to make sure you see where the trail continues on the other side of it. That's it. Other than that, really no navigation issues. This trail, you just follow this trail, follow it to the peak. It'll go right to the peak. You don't have to take any other trails. Occasionally the trail might split around a boulder or two, but that's just leaves it up to you which way you'd prefer to go. Scramble over the boulder or go up the loose dirt. The trail will meet right around the other side of the boulder without any real issues. It's a very beautiful hike here. Highly recommend this. It's beautiful the entire hike, that's the thing. See, right now we're in this really gorgeous canyon surrounded by steep hillsides. And our peaks are way back there. Can't even really see them from here either. So, very rugged. Very rugged. There's some tall Ceanothus tomentosus right here. Really nice. Yeah. Oh, this is a great morning to be up and out and about. So yeah, we'll start the hike and finish the hike in the woods. And it's still, the temperatures are pretty nice out right now. Here we are, Platanus racemosa, California sycamore. These won't start changing till much later, colors. These are usually very late to shed their leaves. And of course, beautiful coast live oaks. That one's full of acorns, I can tell. Full of acorns. Yeah, this is absolutely stunning, stunning out here. So yes, I do highly recommend this. But again, I recommend this to people who have hiking and scrambling experience. You'll definitely need it. And patience. Patience. Despite its short distance, it's not just a quick run up to the peak and run down. Unless you're one of those really super gonzo hikers that can do that kind of stuff and still scramble over rough terrain very quickly. But being a regular hiker, I don't really personally recommend that. Yes, yeah, it's beautiful here. The oaks and the sycamores. There's beautiful laurel. So here's that laurel sumac tunnel I remember from this morning. Very beautiful here. Definitely a hike to enjoy. Even if you don't go all the way to the peak, just coming down here through the woods is a nice little stroll. If you just want to hang out in the woods and enjoy the trees and large bushes. Again, like earlier, Epilobium conum, subspecies conum. California fuchsia, full bloom right now. Oh, I assume those are Eucalyptus comodolensis. I might have to rethink that. I'm trying to see. Yeah, comodolensis. I was thinking those are polyanthemos at first. Got some little foliage, but I think it's just juvenile foliage. Here's an interesting sight I didn't see earlier. It's a little peach tree. A little peach tree sapling down here. Ooh, and it's changing color too. Ooh, the leaves are starting to change. Prunus persica. Sometimes peach and apricot trees can have very nice fall colors. That's pretty nice. And there is some poison oak, but I haven't seen any encroach on the trail at all, so I think this is a pretty safe bet hike if you're really not trying to deal with too much of that. I didn't see any on the trail, but it is a little off the trail in the oak woodlands, so just be aware, stay on the trail for that, especially for that reason. And I think I saw some poison oak in there changing color too for fall. It is one of our premier fall color plants. Yeah, Eucalyptus comodolensis, river red gum. Yeah. Yeah, when I was coming up this morning, it was pretty dark still. So there wasn't really a lot to see. So now that I'm coming back, there's a lot to see now. The sun's out. So I'm going to go ahead and snap a few photos. And we'll see. I should be back pretty soon. Yeah, you remember earlier I was pointing out Rhamnus pilosa, hairy redberry. Well, and I was saying there's a relative lack of spiny redberry Rhamnus crocea. Well, here we go. Here's a Rhamnus crocea for you. Right there. Spiny redberry. And that's Rhamnus pilosa, hairy redberry. So yeah. I wasn't even thinking about what I would see botanically. I was expecting I would see a lot of beautiful stuff. Because everywhere I go, I see a lot of beautiful botanical stuff. A lot of which I've seen hundreds and hundreds of times. And still enjoy just as much today as I did the first time I encountered them. But yeah, I wasn't thinking about hairy redberry today. And it's definitely here, and it's actually quite abundant. Or at least, maybe not super abundant, but it's quite common. It's quite, maybe it is abundant. There's more of it underneath the coast live oak here. There's some more Rhamnus pilosa under there too. Wow, the scenery here is just spectacular. Being in this canyon, down here in this canyon, and when you're up on that, like I said, when you're up on that peak, the views are absolutely stupendous. Views up there are absolutely unbelievable. And the local scenery down in this canyon is also absolutely phenomenal. Definitely a highly recommended hike for those who have some decent hiking experience. You'll definitely want that if you want to come here. Wow. Poway's got some fantastic hiking places, which includes, Poway Range, which kind of bridges between Poway and Ramona. But we are smack dab in the middle of Poway right now, just about at the back of the trailhead. I can see houses already popping up. But yeah, Poway has some absolutely phenomenal hiking trails here. Highly recommended. Even if you don't go all the way up to the ridgeline and peak, at least explore the canyon. Yeah, Quercus agrifolia, variety agrifolia. This is going to be another good acorn year for this tree species. I'm really happy to report that, by the way. That should be I don't know. I think that's another street. I think I still have another cul-de-sac up ahead. Because I remember seeing some houses on this side too. Let me see if I'm right. Like I said, it was pretty dark when I started this morning. If I see my Jeep over there, then I'll know I need to go back, but I do remember seeing some houses on that side too. And there's a trail that goes that way too, I think. Wow, this is gorgeous. Wow. So beautiful here. Might need to be over there. Let's see. Let me see. I don't remember so much of a bushwhack on the way. Not a bushwhack, but I don't remember wading through all this. I might have to go back that way. I might have to retrace my steps. Yeah, I don't remember going through a bunch of laurel sumac. Or remember this acacia rhodolens here. I think I need to go back around, actually. I think I need to go back that way. Wow. Pretty impressive here, though. Here's a little used trail. Maybe this will get me back on track. Yeah, might have gone down the wrong way. Let's see. I'm just going to go ahead and worm my way around this way. There's a cul-de-sac right there. I don't see any cul-de-sac over there. Let's see. Get across this creek bed here. Yeah, it's not the right cul-de-sac. I guess I gotta go further, I guess. It was a rounded cul-de-sac. This one just ends at a straight. It's not all round. Ooh, Coast Golden Bush, full bloom. Isocoma menziesii, Variety menziesii. Full bloom too. Maybe I did have to bushwhack through that laurel sumac. There's more houses over there. Yeah, I guess I had to go through that laurel sumac. I think this is going to lead to garden. I guess I'm coming out on a slightly different area. Yeah, I can see the cul-de-sac over there. I should be on that over there. It's alright, I'll come out on the road. This will end up at a road. I'm not really too worried. No, I'm not worried about getting lost. I'm just about back anyways. Just have to maneuver around a street or two. Yeah, there's a cul-de-sac right there. I can see some of the vehicles that were parked there are still there. So I recognize that pretty well. Ooh, look at this. Fremont cottonwood. Yeah, it's starting to change color too. Ooh, yeah, it's starting to change color. Again, today's October 10th. Shouldn't be too much of a surprise. Very nice. Fremont cottonwood. Yeah. Gotta get some pictures of this. Ooh, a lot of African sumac here too. It's the Arcea lancea. And it's an Audubon's cottontail. So I gotta get back over there. So I think this will end up on garden. And I'll just have to walk back to Quiet Valley or whatever that is. Just have to walk back a little bit. Pretty peaceful over here too. little sumac with a non-native Cape honeysuckle, Tecumseh capensis, all smack dab in the middle of it. So I think this will lead right back to the street, which, like I said, I'll just walk it back to my car. Alright, see you at the street. There's a pretty rough riparian section right here. What we got here? More coast golden bush still blooming, or starting to bloom. We got red willow here. Salix laevigata right here. Behind it is Gooding's willow, Salix goodingi. And here's a coast live oak again. Got a bunch of acorns that are ripening already. Oh, and yes, California sycamore. I'm just about at the road right now. Wow, what a great hike. I think this is Garden. Here's Quiet Valley. Gotta walk to the end of the cul-de-sac. Yeah, this is Garden right here. Came in from that way. And that's where I was, towards that ridgeline over there. That's where I was, way over there. Yep, pretty impressive backdrop to have living here. Very impressive. I can see where my car's parked, facing towards me. This is about to end another adventure. Definitely a really good adventure too. Western scrub jay. Wait a minute. Well, I think that's a female. I think it's a female, I think. It looked like a western scrub jay, but it was more gray. Alright, well, this is about to do it for me. I started walking at the end over there. You'll see the trail. There's another trail that goes all the way to Garden. That's where I got a little mixed up on the way back. But it's going to do it for this hike. Thanks for coming along with me on this beautiful journey out here in Poway. See you on the next hike. Next week I got vacation, so there'll be some big stuff in the works. Details of which I still have to work out, but until then, see you on the next adventure.